Yeah.
He knows the time of day, doesn't he? 1:30. Danny, you got your lunch ready? Hey, here we go. We're in.
It worked.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're good. We're good. You okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah. All right. All right. We're just trying to. It's so hot today. Like, so
Oh, I've
let's
shut the window because of the sound, but I'm sitting here.
yeah, yeah. I know. I know. It's bad. It's bad. So, yeah. Where are you? Like, did you have like a spare office, or is it like?
I'm in my bedroom. This is
Okay.
this is literally my office at the minute. We're in the middle of house renovating, so
All
this
right.
is the
Okay.
only room that looks somewhat present. I say presentable. It's a
It's
white
a
wall,
white
but
wall. That's good though. That's good. That's all right. I hate my scabby curtain there. Like, but I have to draw it, otherwise it's just like bright light. So
backlit.
yeah, so we don't want that. We don't want that. So I guess let's just like dive straight in then, since we
Yeah.
keep getting cut off at hours and stuff. So, like, do you want to tell me how you came to wedding photography? Like, did
hmm
you do it at school, college, or whatever, or was it something you came to later in life? Like, what's the how did you get
Um.
here?
So, it's the long story. So I did art and design in college.
Uh,
Um. Kind of didn't really know what I wanted to do. I guess not really many people know what they want to do.
yeah,
So I did that. Went to work in a studio, like a family photography studio,
okay.
just as sort of an apprenticeship. Um, did that for 2 to 3 years. Um, kind of outgrew it. I loved it, but sort of thought I need to do something else. Didn't really find anything. Tried some sort of commercial corporate roles. Couldn't really get anywhere. So obviously, so many people are applying for the same
Yeah,
job, and
yeah, for sure.
um, so I sat down with my mum and I said, look, could I try, making it on my own? Um, Begrudgingly, I think she said, we'll give it a year and a half,
Okay.
see how you get on. I started with family portraits and newborns. And I actually thought that was really what I wanted to do. It's absolutely newborns. Don't want to do anything
Yeah,
else.
yeah,
Um, did a few weddings on the side. Sort of, oh, it's good fun. But then, sort of a year later, and it really kind of took off and not really looked back. It's been hard, but it's sort of the fun has outweighed
yeah, yeah, the
the
hard
hard
stuff.
parts, I guess.
Yeah. So was it your family photography team then, or just another family that you?
No, no, no. It was just another small family
Okay,
run
okay, okay,
run business.
okay.
But no, it was good, and I learnt some amazing experience that I wouldn't have been able to do,
Yeah, yeah,
without.
yeah,
But yeah, it just sort of kind of I was lucky to have the support of my family.
yeah. So
Um,
were
you
you
know,
still living at home and stuff then, or?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Back then I was living at home. Um, Kind of wish with all this renovation I was back home now.
yeah.
But yeah, no, they were incredibly supportive. I mean, my mum actually was with me in my first few weddings. She was sort of my
All right,
bag
okay.
carrier,
Yeah,
so
yeah. How
that
did
was
that go
good
down? Did
fun.
they like her? I bet they liked her.
Um, yeah, after a few weddings, I was like, yeah, you need to go home now.
Yeah, you're done.
But no, no,
Oh,
it was good fun.
no,
Good fun.
cool. So, like at the start, were you just kind of shooting any wedding that you could, or how were you building your portfolio and kind of finding your style?
Um,
Was that a long
Friends,
process?
I was lucky to have friends that were getting married and kind of trusted me to do a good job. I second shot quite a lot,
Yeah,
um, just to gain experience.
yeah.
I mean, I did do a few weddings with that studio when I was doing my apprenticeship.
Oh, okay, okay.
Um,
So you knew the
which
gist
again,
of like how the day runs and stuff
yeah,
like that. You knew that
yeah.
side of it, didn't you?
But it's funny how the more weddings you do, even now, in any wedding I do, I still learn something new.
Yeah, every time.
Um,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
it's
Yeah. So like in terms of like your style's kind of very light and airy. Like how
mhm.
would you describe your style? Like have you got like a little phrase that you use to describe it or
Oh God, I wish I was that good. No, it's light and airy, romantic.
yeah.
Probably not. I mean, sometimes I do go a little bit darker,
Okay.
um, but I kind of base it on each wedding,
Okay.
um, and kind of the feel for what the day's like and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
and the location and stuff like that.
Yeah. So how did you get to having that? Was it that's just always what you've liked seeing in photos, or did you play around with some other stuff beforehand and
It's
reach
just
for
what
it?
I've always liked. I've
Yeah,
always been drawn to that. I did try and edit sort of slightly darker, and even to this day, I'll still kind of play around and go, "Oh, shall I try something
Maybe.
dark?" And
Yeah.
it just looks awful.
Yeah.
I'm just
Okay.
like, "No, I can't do
Okay.
it."
That's never bad.
I'm gonna leave that to the experts.
Yeah. 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 Cool. Cool. So like, how do you approach the day? Are you very much because like we haven't shot together yet, but
No.
I feel like it's really weird that we haven't because like we speak so much and stuff. So what's your approach on the day? Like, are you very much in the background, or how do you kind of play it?
I'd probably say a mix.
Yeah, just when it
When I
needs to
do,
be type thing.
yeah, when I do pose, it's very, very natural.
Okay.
Um, I suppose, kind of the way I talk to couples is that it's naturally posed.
Okay.
Um, it's
So let's go into that then. Naturally posed, like,
um, so I suppose in terms of couple portraits, it won't be rigidly posed, and so there's some photographers that are incredibly good at that. Whereas I will say, okay, go for a little walk, hold
okay.
hands, talk to each other, and then turn around or walk, walk towards us, because I want them to be comfortable,
Yeah, yeah,
um, and a lot of the couples I work with, they're not massively confident in front of the camera, so they just like a little bit of gentle guidance.
yeah.
Um,
Just to ease them in, kind of thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
um, I mean, a lot of the time, I don't actually think people realise when a photograph is posed.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I think someone will sell such a lovely image, and I said, well, I did kind of sell them, but but that's
It would
that's
be
what
all
I
good.
want. I kind of want that
Yeah, yeah,
natural
yeah.
kind of
Natural bit.
feel.
So, like, how would you sort of deal with a couple, like from an inquiry stage through to booking? Like, what's your approach? Is it very hands-on? Do you guide them through the stage? Have you got a lot of touch points with them, or is it more just they book you and then they have you call before the day and that's it? Or
I'm always in touch.
yeah,
And I'll really emphasize that when they book. Um, I get a lot of clients ask me, can you recommend this person, or what do you think of this? And kind of,
okay,
I'll always try and keep in touch with them. And I mean, Instagram's a great way to do that.
yeah, yeah,
I'll drop them a little message, and if a client book, I'll send them like a little box of biscuits or something, so they
okay,
always know that they can kind of reach me.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, when they do book, I send a brochure of sort of suppliers and any tips and stuff like that. So
okay. So you've
it is
actually got
quite,
something like tangible that you're sending out to them
yeah,
then at that point.
yeah.
Okay,
It
cool.
just gives, I guess it's something nice when you book. It's exciting. It's like, oh,
Yeah, yeah.
this, it's a big important day.
Yeah. And
Um,
do they know that's coming, or is that a surprise that just turns up in the post?
that just turns up.
Okay, cool. So you get that kind of, I guess that it's more appreciative then, isn't it? Because it's like a bonus almost that,
Yeah,
there's
it's just a little bit of
a little
excitement.
something. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So I guess it kind of segues nicely into like, so that you mentioned that had like a list of suppliers and stuff. Is
yeah,
that like everything from like I don't know, like florists to videographers to uh DJs, or is it?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I try and find two of each kind of
Okay. Yeah.
supplier, and then and they're people I'm sort of proud to work with and kind of happy to recommend.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Oh, cool.
so yeah, and
And
I just find it helps. Not the day runs smoother. I'm happy to work with anyone, but when you know other
yeah, it just takes
suppliers,
away another sort
yeah,
of possible like challenging
yeah,
touch point or whatever, doesn't it? Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So, like, how often are your couples asking? Like, do they read that and then reach out to you and say like, oh, we're thinking of this one, this person, or how often are they kind of going off your recommendations, or is it more a thing of like, oh yeah, we've seen what you think, but actually we've gone off and found this other person and we really want to bring them on? Like, how does that kind of break down, like percentage wise and stuff?
I think it varies. I mean, I think the reason a lot of couples ask me for recommendations is because when they book, or after I'll speak to them on the phone and stuff, I'll say, if you want any recommendations, if you need any help, never hesitate to let me know.
Yeah,
So they, from the go, they kind of know that they can ask.
yeah.
Um, and if I've worked with certain suppliers, I'll always tag them, share their work and stuff like that.
Okay, cool.
Um,
Yeah. So yeah, I guess like kind of touching on what Lewis said yesterday, very much like your community over competition type
Yeah,
thing. Like yeah,
yeah.
and like do you get a lot of work from maybe like other people recommending you and stuff like that, like from your own network and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, I get a lot of work from other photographers, sort of referrals and stuff.
Yeah,
Um, and I just think there are so many weddings. I mean, obviously not right this minute,
yeah,
but
yeah,
there's so many weddings and so many couples getting married that there is plenty for everyone. So I just kind of, you know, the clients that love your work will find you, and there's no harm in networking and being friendly to other photographers.
yeah, yeah,
It works both ways, and you sort of you get what you put out.
yeah, yeah, for
So
sure, for sure. Like, is it, are you, how are you sort of actively doing that? Is it just like through Facebook groups and things like that, or do you go to events and like, are
mainly
you,
Facebook groups. That sounds
yeah.
really lazy, doesn't it? No,
They
I just
work, they work.
yeah.
Yeah, okay,
But
cool.
it's nice because I mean I'm sure you know as well. There's lots of sort of close knit networking groups on
Yeah, yeah,
Facebook,
yeah,
and it's good as well because you never know when you're gonna need someone's help. Um,
exactly. Yeah, it can always be like at the point, like I find, especially like just now, like in the kind of the darkest point almost, it's like a referral that can kind of get you through that period and sort of
yeah,
save your arse for a
yeah.
little bit. So yeah, it's massively important. Yeah, definitely. So I guess like let's touch on video a little bit. Like, how often are your couples? How what percentage of your weddings like have videographers at them, would you say? And is it growing, or what have you kind of seen happen over the last few years
I'd
with video?
I'd say a lot more now.
Yeah,
Um, and I've noticed when I'm sure this was on one of your other lives, your interviews, that more people are having just highlight videos.
yeah, yeah,
Because it's that they want to put it online, and whereas years ago it was just that it was pretty much a full video or nothing.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I've noticed anyone I speak to, it's oh yeah, we're going for just a highlights package,
Okay,
or
okay,
but more and more of my couples are going for videographers,
yeah,
and to be honest, I do recommend it.
okay,
Um, I do sort of say to them, we can capture the speeches, but we can't capture what you're saying.
yeah, yeah.
Um, we as much as we try. Being honest, there's certain things we just can't capture.
Yeah, you just can't get
Um,
those the words, you know. It's
no.
yeah,
Um,
you can get the moments, you can see the emotion and stuff, but
mm,
there's almost like there's more context, I guess, when you have the words
yeah,
in video. So
yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
So say they booked a videographer, would you reach out to, and it's maybe someone that you haven't worked with before, would they reach out to you, or do you reach out to them, or is it just a case of turn up in the morning and we're all
Um,
like nice people, so let's just go for it.
I think a bit of both, I guess. I mean, a lot will reach out to me before I even
Okay.
get a chance to look.
Yeah.
But I'll always, be happy to sort of have a chat with them before. If I don't get a chance to speak to them beforehand, I'll, as soon as I arrive, I'll work out who's who and kind of introduce
Yeah,
myself.
yeah. Yeah.
Um, and it's kind of every wedding I sort of say the same thing, which is if I'm in your way, just sort of nudge me
Yeah,
and
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's the best thing. I think it's like as long as everybody's aware of that, like from both sides, and it's like
mm,
maybe we will get in each other's way, but it'll probably be unintentionally.
yeah,
So you'd like to think anyway.
yeah,
So yeah, just a little like, come on, just give me like a second longer, or just move a little
yeah,
bit, and we can still both get what we
yeah,
need to. Yeah. So yeah, just
yeah.
that.
I mean, most of the time, every shot, sort of bride and groom walking down the aisle or confetti shot. So, I will always speak to them and say, what are you planning to do?
Yeah,
Um, and how can I work with you, I guess.
yeah.
Um,
So like, do you kind of almost say this is what I'm gonna do, or are you very much what are you gonna do, and you'll work around them? Like, what would be
I think it's a bit of both. I mean,
just read the situation on the day
yeah,
type thing.
I mean,
Yeah.
a confetti shot, I like to do where they, like an aisle and where they walk through.
Okay.
Um, and a videographer will often say to me, do you
What's your approach?
track them, or do and I
Yeah.
don't tend to because I worry that I'm going to trip
Yeah,
over.
yeah, definitely.
So, 9 times out of 10 they say, well, can I do it halfway and then jump out your way and say, yeah, it's fine. There's always, most of the time there's two of us anyway.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
so we kind of work around it. I mean, sometimes there's sort of like 4 or 5 of us, and it's like, okay, someone needs
It's a
to back
little bit
this.
tight. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But no, I've never really had a wedding where there's been a problem.
Okay, that's
Um,
good. It's good to know. Good to
you
know.
know.
Yeah, and like I guess like the sort of main touch point is around couple portrait time and stuff like that. So, what would be your like in an ideal world? What would you want to do? Would you want to take the couple like out for lots of little bits, or are you the type that would be like, we just want like 45 minutes around golden hour? What's your approach?
Um, it varies on the day. It really varies. I mean, if the light is too bright earlier
Yeah, yeah,
on in the day, I'll kind of say to the couple, "Do you mind if we go back out after your food?" Or if the light. And most of my couples will say, "We trust your judgment. We want amazing pictures,
yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
whatever you think." But I do make a habit of you know looking to make sure the videographer is with me.
Okay,
Um,
cool. That's good
just
to know.
because it works both ways. If I was in their position and I'd missed some amazing couple portraits, I'd be really really upset. And
Yeah,
at the end of the day, we're both providing a service, and we're ultimately trying to give the couple the best. So
yeah.
it's it's just ultimately, to me, it's just about being fair, and if you can work together, it gives the couple a better outcome.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So just having the couple at like kind of the center of all the decisions that would happen with photo
Yeah,
and video type thing. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's definitely the way forward, I think. So like in terms of while you're shooting the couple portrait sessions, like how would you approach that? Just how would you approach it, and then how would you approach it with if there was a videographer there with you?
Um, to be honest, most video I don't. I mean, I'm assuming you work the same. But most videographers I work with, they kind of say, "You do your thing,
Yeah,
and we'll
yeah, and just
kind
shoot
of
around
be."
you. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Um,
Yeah.
but the way I kind of work is I'll start with a walking shot,
Okay.
just to ease them into it.
The
Um,
couple.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and I know the videographer's like that anyway because it's movement.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, so I start with a walking shot in one location, probably move them around to somewhere else. I like to try and just keep it really easy going, not too sort of forced and kind
Yeah,
of, we've got to do this, we've got to do this, quick, quick. I really like to just keep it calm because then they're going to stay calm.
yeah.
Um, and I kind of always say that your couple portraits is a real chance just to have some time together,
Hmm.
because you
Definitely.
don't get much of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so, and normally, the videographer will just say, "Oh, can I just quickly get this shot?" And I say, "Yeah, it's fine." Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of with or without a videographer, I kind of work in the same way.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
so and if once I've done the shots I want to do, I'll say, "Are there any you want to do?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and they'll say, "Yeah," and I'll hang around and just be at the side and grab some shots, or
Just kind of pick off if there's any like
yeah,
kind of bonus things that
yeah,
you can get from it. Yeah,
yeah. But
definitely.
I'm always aware that I don't want to take up all the time and leave nothing for the
Yeah.
videographer.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, it's just trying to create a nice balance of not sort of being sort of portrait overload and kind of wearing the couple out, but
Yeah.
then still allowing a bit of time, if there's anything that the videographer hasn't got.
Yeah. 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 I think it's definitely about like kind of reading the couple and are they feeling it? Are they a bit
Yeah,
sort of tired? Do they want to be back like with a
yeah.
guest and stuff like that? So, yeah, it's definitely that
It's
definitely comes into it. Yeah. Okay. So what's the hardest part of the day that you think? What's your most, whether that's actually a photo part or like a logistic part, or maybe not logistic. Let's go photo. So you're like, what's your like we said like that midday sun during canapes and stuff can just be an absolute like nightmare. So like
Yeah,
that's what I struggle with video the
yeah,
most because you're having to break all the rules and the footage
yeah,
isn't you're fighting against so many things at that point in the day because of the light. So
yeah.
for me, that would be the hardest part to shoot sometimes. Well, pretty much all the time, I think actually. So what would
Um,
you can say
I
the
think
same?
that I mean I think, to be honest, I struggle with the wrong word, but winter weddings are really quite challenging
Yeah,
for that
yeah.
reason.
Mhm.
Um, in terms of group photographs, I do a handful.
Okay.
Kind of the main
Yeah,
sort
the
of
main.
immediate family, stuff
Yeah.
like that. But if like you say, if it's really, really bright and you've not got too many choices of where to do them,
Hmm.
that can be a bit of a challenge, and especially in winter.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so that's probably a challenge. I mean, going not so much on photos, I sort of a concern of mine is always getting to the venues. That's kind of, and that's another reason I like two photographers, is because otherwise it's, oh my god, I've got to get to
Yeah,
the
yeah,
ceremony. And if there's like three locations and things like that, that to me that is literally, once I'm at the venue,
you're all
I'm like,
good.
oh, it's good.
Yeah, yeah. Nothing can
um,
happen.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and I guess I'm trying to think of things that I find,
No, that's all
find
good.
really difficult. But I think if a venue isn't really well lit,
Hmm.
um, that's always a challenge. But again, that's something we're used to kind of dealing
Working
with, I guess.
around, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just like almost the reality of like you have to be able to shoot in dark situations, like whether it's photo or video, you have to
yeah,
be prepared for that because it is,
yeah,
yeah, it's how half the weddings are, if not more, if not more.
yeah.
So like you mentioned like there's always two of you photographers or
Most. I mean, I
most?
do I do offer a package just with me, but
Okay,
I do sort of recommend to couples to go for two.
okay, yeah,
Especially as nowadays lots of people like the groom prep and bride prep.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. So if it's different locations, yeah, you can't
yeah,
be jumping around there but
yeah,
once.
and it does kind of, the groom prep does add sort of another dimension to it.
For
Um,
sure.
and it makes the groom feel a bit more included, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Like, do you find, because a lot of the times, if it's just a sort of bride and groom as the couple, like maybe the groom's been, he's not really got involved with the flowers typically or anything like that, so he gets like his job is to sort the video out. Is that
Yeah.
similar for photo, or is it more 50/50, or it's still the
Um,
bride would normally
I
do it?
mainly get the bride booking with
Okay.
me.
Yeah.
I get a few with the groom, but mainly the bride. And weirdly, whenever lots of weddings where there's a videographer, the groom will deal with the videographer. I don't
Yeah.
know why that is, or
I think it's
unless
just the
it's,
stereotypical, like it's kind of technology, so the guy should, like, it's
yeah,
bad, but it's still the way it is in
yeah. I mean,
reality, I
I
think.
think maybe as well because I'm a woman. I think the bride tends to go, oh, I
Hmm.
want to contact that one, and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
she sort of carries on talking to me. Whereas I think a lot of clients of mine, when the groom has booked a videographer, a lot of the time it's been a man.
yeah,
So it is weird. It's obviously who they feel comfortable with.
yeah, yeah. So do you
Um,
think that you have an advantage almost, like maybe not advantage is the wrong word, but do you think it benefits you to be a woman working in this industry and to be a
I th-
supplier that's there on the day all day?
I think from a bridal prep perspective,
Yeah,
it the amount of brides that say to me, I really wanted a female photographer.
yeah,
Um, because years ago it used to be predominantly a male sort of profession, being a photographer. So, I mean, I still get sort of, you know, uncles at weddings that come up to me and saying, oh, I don't see many female wedding photographers.
so bad.
But or I'll get the oh, you look too young to be doing this. That's what I get a lot. But yeah, it is strange. It is starting to change.
Yeah.
But saying that, I mean, understandably, I often notice if, because I work, some of my second photographers are male,
Mm.
and the groom will feel more comfortable with that. Um, I mean, one of my second photographers, Courtney, she'll she'll meet them at groom prep, and I always tell them that they're always a little bit like, oh my god, it's a woman,
Yeah, yeah,
but she'll whip them into shape. She'll be like, come
yeah.
on, get your suit on, we need to get going.
It is interesting to see. I've kind of noticed that the dynamic does change actually when it's
Yeah,
like just like photo and video of the guys there, or yeah, it does definitely change. Does definitely change.
yeah,
Oh, yeah. And like they do definitely like kind of buck their ideas up a little bit, and they get dressed quicker. They're not just hanging out in like their boxers and stuff. Whereas
yeah.
like if I'm the only one at groom prep because it's like a single photographer or whatever, it's just like whatever goes with the lads being lads type thing. So.
Yeah, I mean, I one of my very first weddings that I did. And she may even be watching it. I
Uh,
don't know. But he literally, we did bridal prep and then raced to groom prep, and one of the groomsmen, like his best man, opened the door in his boxers. So I was like,
yeah,
oh, this is different. And then
yeah,
they said, can we have a picture in our boxers on the sofa next to my colourful fish tank?
all right,
And I was like, right, okay. So that you do get some that just
yeah,
don't care. But a lot of the time, Courtney will say she'll go in, and there'll be a videographer there, and he'll be a male, and they'll be all laughing and joking. She'll walk in, and it'll kind of like
just
tense
that
up a
deadly
little bit.
awkward
Yeah,
silence. Yeah, it's bad, but it's just the way it is, isn't it? It's just the reality of kind of
yeah.
the situation just now. So I guess like, what would be your best piece of advice for couples? Like, book something who you feel personally connected to or comfortable around. Maybe going off that or something else.
I mean, I do always say to my couples that you want to book someone who you are comfortable with,
Yeah,
um, just because otherwise, you know, you, you'll you won't be able to tell, but you'll kind of the couple portrait session, it won't be as relaxed and as enjoyable as it should be.
yeah,
Um, you really just want to be at ease, and you want to trust your photographer.
mhm,
Um, I mean, I always say kind of research the style you like, because there are so many different amazing styles.
yeah,
So find the style you like first, and then kind of sort of narrow it down, and just don't be afraid to say to someone, can we meet you, or can I have a video call with you?
yeah,
Um, because you've got nothing to lose, and most videographers and photographers or any other supplier will be happy to do that.
yeah, yeah,
Um, it's just because there's nothing worse than on your wedding day, which obviously should be the happiest day of your life.
yeah,
There's nothing worse than thinking, oh, I'm worried if she's not got this, or they've not done that, or
yeah,
you know you shouldn't be feeling that. So, and take your time with the decision. As much as people get booked up, it's a big decision.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. It's definitely like, I almost feel like couples don't know what they don't know. So it's, if they've had someone who, if they had photo or video, if they've had somebody who maybe they didn't quite click with on the day, didn't quite fit in with the vibe of the day, their guests and stuff, maybe they just think, well, that's how it is. But it
yeah,
doesn't have to be like that at all. It can just be like, we can just be members of the, what, members, guests. We can just be guests at the wedding who happen to
yeah,
be like shooting there. So yeah, I would definitely say, like, try and find a connection with your
yeah,
photo and video on the day, and
yeah.
you know,
I mean, I think it's quite an old-fashioned way to work, where you just went to the high street, found a photography studio, just booked
yeah,
them,
yeah,
didn't speak to them
just
or see
based
them.
on like,
Yeah,
yeah, they do photos, so
yeah,
we need a
yeah,
photo, we need a photographer,
yeah,
so yeah, yeah, definitely, yeah.
yeah. I think
Mm.
it's the whole service, weddings in general. I think it's a lot more personal.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah,
I mean, and I think with social media as well, that's made it more personal.
yeah,
You can follow them, you can interact with them, you can kind of share things, and on both sides, it's just a much more sort of personal
yeah,
approach.
yeah. Like, the ease of communication is so much
Yeah,
more. Yeah, it's just like everything's instant and stuff. So, which is good
yeah,
and bad sometimes, but
yeah,
mainly good, mainly benefits. So, um, what else we got? So your branding and stuff, like, I guess going back to your style a little bit, did your branding come off the back of, after you decided you wanted to shoot in a particular way? Have you gone through any rebrands and stuff? Like, how much emphasis do you place on your brand representing you?
oh, I probably should put more into my branding than I do. Um,
Okay.
I've sort of tweaked it as time's gone on,
Yeah.
and kind of sort of this type and style of weddings I'm shooting, it changes. Um, but it's always been, being honest, it's always been quite plain and simple.
Okay.
But that's kind of just sort of I guess it's my taste, and just
Yeah.
sort of
Yeah.
what I think
Yeah. It
fits.
represents you in the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, like I said, I probably should put more into it than I do. But I think, that's what a lot of photographers and suppliers in general are doing in this time, just kind of trying to
Yeah. Using
refine.
it to.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
So, like,
Um,
what's your kind of, like, tone, if you like, for like how you would reply to an inquiry, are you very personable, like from the start, or does it kind of once they've spoken a little bit more, you kind of go away from a more formal approach and that,
Um,
or just
I'd
straight into being you?
probably say I'm quite informal. I think it's the wrong word, but I'm, you know, from
Personable?
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
think pretty much
Yeah.
when they email, I sort of ask them about their day straight away.
Okay.
Um, you know, how everything's, especially in obviously what's going on at the minute, how everything's going.
Yeah.
Um, I think, and it's just the way I am. I'm kind of interested in their day. Um, I mean, I think you would probably say the same. You have to love weddings to be in this
For
industry.
sure. Yeah.
um, so when someone, inquires, I'm genuinely interested in what's going on and kind of how it's all going, and everything like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Okay. Cool. So what's your sort of stance on awards and things like that? Is it something that you pursue, or have you got any? Are you not bothered?
I think
Just
this is a bit of a controversial.
it is definitely, yeah. That's why I ask it.
um, I personally, my view, and it's probably very, very old fashioned and really fuddy duddy, and
Right.
I'll probably get photographers watching this going, "Oh, sort of, I'm not watching this now." But whoop, my camera's gone.
That's
Um,
it.
but and I don't think you should have to pay for them.
Mm.
That is my. But I've always thought that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just, to clients, they're thinking, "Oh wow, they've won an award, but they've paid to enter
Yeah.
it,"
To
and I
the end.
kind of. I get it, and I get there's a brilliant judging system behind it. I just sort of, I'd rather a magazine see my work and go, oh, we want to name them as
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
top photographer.
So
That
do you push for more things like publications, and do you do a lot of styled shoots and things like that, or
Yeah, I try to,
okay?
but also just because I love doing them.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, but like I said, I can completely understand why people do the awards, and they are. I'm not saying they're rubbish. They're not. The people behind them are fantastic, but I just would rather not use
The
my money to be given an award, because I'll just feel like, did I pay for
yeah.
that?
Yeah. Yeah.
um, but things, different approaches work for different people.
Mm.
So
Yeah, because I mean, it's never really been a thing that I've had inquired about, but there's definitely been things where I've seen maybe after a couple's book that I've seen like, or maybe they did notice that we've got it on our website and stuff, but I only kind of pursued it at the start to kind of level the playing field because I was like, well, if someone else has got like one of these kind of iffier ones,
yeah,
then a client maybe can't see that it doesn't really matter. So I didn't want to be disadvantaged. So that was kind of
yeah.
my thoughts around that at first. But yeah, it's probably been 3, maybe 4 years since like we kind of pushed for it and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's not good. It's fine, whatever. Doesn't matter really. The reality
No,
is
I
that
mean
it doesn't matter.
I think a lot of people do it when they first start,
Yeah.
um, and it's understandably it's a confidence thing.
Hmm.
I think
Yeah.
because
It's quick
any sort
validation,
of,
isn't it?
any recognition and kind of sort of, I think acceptance is the wrong word, but any kind of sort of just award in itself is like, oh, it's amazing, and you
Yeah.
do need those confidence
Yeah. Yeah.
boosts to kind of keep going.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, just to balance out like that. I'd love an award right now to balance out the
yeah,
negative days. That would be good. That would be good.
yeah.
So like, do you do any other advertising? Like, are you on any directories or anything, or is it very much you're pushing that kind of publication, organic kind of Instagram
Um,
angle?
I'm on Hitched.
Hmm.
Um, I do get quite a few from them.
Okay.
Um, I think I'm trying to think. Other than that, to be honest, I'm trying to plug more into sort of the website and stuff like that.
Okay.
Um,
Like kind of SEO in it and sorting
yeah,
it out from that kind of
yeah.
perspective. Okay. Cool. Cool. So how are you doing that? Are you doing that yourself, or have you got someone in to help with
Uh,
that, or just
doing
learning?
it for myself at the minute.
Okay.
Um,
How's that
but
going? Enjoyable?
not so enjoyable. But I will be kind of trying to bring someone in, just because they're an expert for a reason.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I'll stick to my day job.
Yeah. So yeah, it's hard. It's hard. It's definitely hard. Like I just kind of turn my back on it. It's like the website's done. It's up. Like Google knows it exists, whether it comes up or not. I can't deal with like
Yeah.
the technical stuff. My brain does not work for that type of stuff. Um, yeah. So like, do you have any like? Do you want your wedding photo to be about maybe a team of you, or are you very much like you want to keep it your thing and your sort of personal?
Um, I'm not sure. I think
Okay.
about it, but
Yeah.
then I do think because the brand is my name,
Yeah. Yeah.
that I sort of it's already personal and it's already kind of saying it's me.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I use the kind of the same circle of second photographers. So you know, when a couple book, they'll say often they'll ask who, and I say, well, it'll be this or this person.
Yeah.
Um, but I think I just enjoy the day too much to, you know, let someone else go off and kind of represent me, and you know, it's probably a
Yes.
control freak thing as well.
You're allowed that. You're allowed that. You're self-employed. You can do what you want. So yeah, definitely. It's because I kind of thought we were going to go that way with confetti and silk, but the reality is it's much harder. Like I think we have the advantage of because it's like a brand name rather than like
Yeah,
Stuart's wedding videos,
yeah,
and there's two of us that like actually own the company, so we can split up and take second shooters. So that's
yeah.
been really good for like obviously rescheduling things
Hmm.
that have happened for the last few months. But yeah, it's definitely harder than you think to get it done.
Yeah.
Um, so where do you see yourself in 5 years with weddings and things?
Hopefully, still doing what I'm doing now.
Yeah,
I mean, to be honest, I'm happy where I'm at, and I'm really grateful for kind of all all the work I do get. You know, anytime someone books me, I'm sort of like, oh God, like as someone else that's that trusts me
believes
to,
in you. Yeah,
yeah. Because I was just about to say, you know, in your comment on sort of trying to sort of branch out and outsource weddings, it's a trust thing. I think it takes a lot for kind of couples to trust, you're going to do a good job.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, I mean, I just to be doing what I'm doing the amount of weddings I do a year in 5 years, that I'd be happy with that.
happy with that. Okay, okay.
Um,
So like, how many do you do a year? Do you just book it out, or have you got set like 25, 30 or something?
I'd like to say I have a set limit, but I
It's like yeah,
don't.
the people who
I'd
say they have
probably,
set limits don't have set limits.
yeah. I mean, the most I did in one year was 45,
Okay,
and that was too much.
yeah,
Um, so I don't tend to go more than 35.
okay, yeah,
I'd probably say 30,
yeah.
really.
I'd say that that's like from my experience, that's definitely the breaking point because I had one year where I was second shooting and stuff as well. So even though
Yeah,
I guess it's less stressful, obviously, but you're still kind of in that wedding mode and just going through like you've been at like 40 weddings or whatever.
yeah,
It's quite a lot of weddings to go to in a year, you
yeah,
know.
yeah,
So yeah, like 35, I think is the kind of emotional breaking point
yeah,
or whatever.
yeah.
So yeah, if anybody watching has any questions, please send them and we'll answer them. It can be photo or video or just weddings in general, anything like that. But otherwise, what would you? So this is like the big question.
Oh God,
So it needs to be like a really like strong, heartfelt answer.
oh
Like,
God.
what if you can be remembered for one thing by your couples, whether it's great photos, just a really nice person to be around and have at their wedding on a day, like what would you want your couples to remember you of?
I mean,
So,
I think the photos would always have to be a main priority.
yeah,
I think if they said no, the photos are pretty average.
yeah,
But aside from that, probably just I like to be as helpful as I can.
okay,
Um, I think it's just my nature generally is just I like to just make people happy.
okay,
So I guess just kind of the whole package really. It's just, oh, she was so helpful, and oh, we didn't realize you was there at that point, and kind of, oh, you got this and we didn't even know. It's I'm a
Yeah,
people pleaser. That's kind of who I am. So just, for them to just, go, she was so likable and so easy, and just for the process to be easy as well.
yeah.
Um, it's a really poor answer, actually.
It's not. It's not. It's not. It's not. It's like I think what you just said then about the process being easy is like so important.
Yeah,
Like for me, I would want someone to think like from start to end, like that was a great decision that we made to book Stuart to do our
yeah,
video or Camilla to do our
yeah,
photos. I think
yeah,
that's like as strong an endorsement as you can get. Just like we're happy that we spent that money and we made that investment, and
yeah,
you know couldn't have asked for anything better as an
yeah,
experience. So
yeah. I mean, and I am really lucky that a lot of my couples, I do have a sort of a really good relationship with them, and I do talk to them a lot, and kind of, like I'll be talking to a client and she'll send me like a random picture, and it'll be almost be like a friendship, and I like that they feel comfortable enough to do things like that.
yeah.
Yeah. And I
So
think that is part of it as well.
yeah, for sure, definitely. Like, so do you have like relationships with your couples after everything's been delivered and stuff, or?
Um, Probably as far as Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
um,
So there's
as
still
much as
like touch points and stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, as much as I would love to, I think once the wedding's over, once they get their photographs and their video back, that's kind of the end of it, and they're like, oh. um, but yeah, no, I speak to them. I'll keep in touch with them, but I don't want to sort of appear like that really needy photographer that won't go
yeah,
away.
yeah. Oh, we've got a question. We think technical skills are really more important than being emphatic with customers. What about you? Oh, so this is an Italian company asking.
Right.
So do you want to go first or I'll go first?
Um, I'd
I
I'd have
disagree with it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I have to disagree.
Yeah.
It might. I don't know if it's the way we like as English people are, because I know we can be, a bit sort of, I guess.
Come on.
Yeah, we always apologise, and we apologise for moving out of the way when we shouldn't have and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I just think your photographs can be incredible, but if you take 6 months to deliver them, don't talk to them, don't update them, everything's a painful process. It will taint kind
Yeah.
of what is seen at the end,
Yeah. For
and they'll
sure.
just go, yeah, all right, fab, whatever.
Yeah,
You know,
we're done. Like
yeah,
it's fine, like no problem, but no
yeah,
like positivity, like
yeah.
hype after.
And
Yeah,
I mean, one of them, she's a wedding planner actually. She's incredible, but she said, was it the quote she said to me was that um, people will forget what you say, but they don't forget how you make them feel. And
ooh,
ever since she said that, that's kind of stuck with me, because it's so true. You forget what someone said on the day, but if they've upset you, you don't forget that.
yeah,
Um, and I
yeah,
kind of just think that's,
yeah.
you know,
Really good point. Yeah, I think like obviously you have to have a degree of technical knowledge. Everything has to be to a competent level,
yeah,
but I don't think a couple wouldn't. For me, if it was my wedding, I wouldn't want a photo on my wall that was like the most amazing photo. But I remember being really pissed off that I'd been dragged out to stand there for like 20 minutes while we waited for like some clouds to clear or something like that. Like
yeah,
that's what I'm going to remember from seeing that image. I'm not going to see
yeah,
the moment.
yeah,
So I think that's really important. But yeah, obviously you have to have knowledge of your gear and stuff and know
yeah,
what to. And I
yeah,
guess that kind of plays into being able to be more relaxed, because it's just one less thing to worry about. If you know and believe in yourself that any situation that can happen on the wedding day, like you can handle it from a technical aspect, then it
yeah,
lets you focus on the moments more rather than being like, oh my God, like my flash isn't charged, or
yeah,
like I can't see in this darkness, like things like
yeah.
that. So
I mean, I
yeah,
think what you were just saying is that I think what we have to remember sometimes is that as much as we want to get that incredible shot, it's someone's wedding day.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so in terms of like when I sometimes do sort of like backlit nighttime shots,
Mhm.
and the photographer in me is going, oh my god, I really want to get that shot. It'll look incredible. It'll be amazing. Like, but a couple aren't, if they're on the dance floor dancing and kind of having a laugh and enjoying it and relaxing, sometimes the last thing they want to do is be dragged out to have
Yeah,
one more photograph. I think
yeah,
you've kind of got to remember this is their wedding day. And in terms of like, waiting for clouds to move and stuff, if it's not going to happen, you have to just move
move on.
on and work with what you've got and just
Yeah,
think they're going to love it. You know, obviously, it probably could be technically better, but it's about working with the day and kind of working with them as well.
yeah, 100%, definitely. There we go. That was a good one to wrap up on. Yeah, that's good. So we've done like 45 minutes. I think that's like a good length.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for coming on and
No, it's
being
my pleasure.
being brave and showing your face and all that.
It's the first live I've
So
done, so I'm like, oh
yeah,
my god.
no, you were good. You were good. You were good. So yeah, it's cool. So yeah, thanks very much, and thanks
No,
everybody for watching and stuff. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put it on YouTube so you can share it if you want, but you don't have to
no,
stuff.
I
So
probably
that's
won't.
it. That's good. My feelings are all right. Yeah. No, okay, cool. Thank you very much.
No
Nice
worries.
one. All right, see you
Cool.
later.
Bye.
So, bye.